John. John, another thing. I know you kind of touched on it before, but what actually happened in that spar?
With Tyson.
How many rounds did you do? How many rounds?
I think about 2 or 3. So Tyson came in with his. Tyson was only young, but he was big, man. And I was at the back end of my career, and I still was going in the gym and ticking over. And Brendan says, "Get in the ring with him." I'm like, really? And so I got in with Tyson. And Tyson.
Did you know who he was? Sorry.
I knew who he was.
Yeah.
His dad was louder than he was. I knew who he was. And his dad came in with him. And his dad, so Brendan's in his usual corner in the ring. His dad stood on the side of the ring, which was a bit odd because usually people sit, they'll stay on the floor and they'll look up. His dad got on the side of the ring. And Tyson, he was throwing shots and he was missing. And I was slipping and slipping the shots, and he's fast. But the thing is, I was trying to hit him. I was missing. It was like us both trying to catch flies. And I thought, for a big guy, you're bloody fast and awkward to hit. I couldn't touch him. And I thought, he'll make a mistake soon. So usually in boxing, if there's a young guy and he gets in with an old champion, there's that little bit of invisible respect you have for the champion or ex-champion that's there. He had none at all. He was just trying to blast me out. But he couldn't hit me. And so he was missing. His dad's doing, get him. And Tyson stopped. He went, why don't you fucking get in and come in and get him? So them two were arguing at ringside. You get in or you come in and get him. And they were arguing at ringside. It's not that easy, you know. And I just looked at Brendan, and Brendan like put his hand there and like smirked and chuckled. Carry on. And but I told his story, and Tyson said, I can't remember where we were. He said, "Yeah, you were lying shit house." And his dad said, "No, that did actually happen, son. It did happen." And even then, I thought this kid's got ball, or he's just numb to any kind of nerves because the man showed no respect. He was trying to take my head off. Just saying.
Oh, I find that story quite interesting actually, because when you originally told me, I think it was about a year and a half ago, I had no idea that you'd sparred him, and what it is, I don't put you in the same era of any boxer in the last 30 years.
There's layers to this, man. There's layers, man. I can tell you stories about everything.
You never sparred anyone like... But what other heavyweights did you spar?
So,
that are currently fighting now?
That are currently fighting? I don't know. I remember David Hay spar, and David Hay had a reputation of going around all the gyms and sparring and blasting everybody. And David Hay, through Adam Booth, got in touch with Ben and said, "Can you come up and spar?" And when Ben told me, I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And Ben said, "I said no." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because he's going to come up here and knit you ideas, and he might eventually be a sparring partner." And usually what happened is whenever we went away to spar, like when I was a sparring partner for years, it was my best learning. And so Brendan knew that. So again, if Davey's doing that, he knew exactly what Davey was doing. And so Brendan knocked him back, said no. So usually when I went away to spar, if you spar, I can remember sparring with Fabricio, so he was the world light heavyweight champion. And I was beating him up every day, but not beating him up. I thought, manhandling him easy. And every day I'd phone Brendan and say, "Brendan, look, I can do this guy." He said, "Don't, because you might be an opponent one day." So you'd have to let him bitch you. You'd have to let him like ride the shots and think, "I could so do you." And so every sparring partner, you had to do that. And I can remember there was a guy called, was it Patrice Owisi? I boxed him for the European title. He should have boxed Terry Dunstan. And I was his sparring partner. And he was a proper gym bully. And so I had to ride the shot. So he'd like go to hit in the midsection, I'd ride this shot or ride this shot. And I'd phone Brent and said, "Brent, he's a bully." He said, "You dare." Yeah, this is the kind of power, Brent. You dare touch him. Behave yourself. You'll get the sack. You could be an opponent. Behave yourself. So I've got to let this guy think he's got the better of me. And Brendan said it was the best. If you can control a man and doesn't even know he's being controlled, that's ultimate control. You control him mentally, physically, everything he does. And this guy thought, I've got the best side of him. Anyway, I left on the Saturday. I was in France, I think it was. And Terry Dunstan pulled out on the Tuesday. So the tickets had been sold, the fight had been sold and everything. And they phoned me on the Tuesday and said, "Do you want the fight? We need an opponent." So, and I gone back to Brendan and said, "Brendan, I've got him. So when I went, Brendan came and told me this. He said, "Right, have you really got him?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you've got the fight Saturday." Yes. So we flew back to France. I left there the Saturday, flew back the Wednesday, and when we flew back, he was there, really cocky, thinking I've just done it, which battered him in sparring. And all his mates were there. He dropped his guard. He's relaxing. It's a done deal. Came to the fight. I absolutely battered him. I think he stopped him about 7 rounds, and he just couldn't understand what had happened. And that's why we go back to the David Haye situation. He said, because he understood David Haye was dangerous. David Haye was possibly going to be the heir apparent. And he said, "Look, you don't want to give this guy a chance when he shouldn't have one. You know, do not make him come and spar. He's only going to nick your ideas. He'll see what you've got, what you haven't got." No, point blank, no. And that's why we almost sparred, but it didn't happen.
It's mad. It's mad. It's interesting because, like I said, I know you was not on the scene 30 years ago, but you was on the scene, what? When was your last fight? 10?
2006, I think. 2005,
14 years ago. 14 years ago.
Yeah. 2005.
I'd love to have been covering your fights.
Sorry?
I'd love to have been covering your fights.
My fights, I'll admit, my fights weren't. I actually enjoyed boxing more towards the end of my career because then the penny had completely dropped. Up until that point, even when I was world champ, once I became world champion, that's when I really believed I was the best in the world. And you've got to be arrogant enough to say that, to really believe that. We did a poll on our Sky Sports pod last week, and it was about the cruiserweights, and named all the top cruiserweights in the world. And we had to pick the top 3. I put myself at number 2, behind Evander Holyfield and ahead of Alexander Usyk. But I actually believed that. So it doesn't matter if I'm wrong or right, but I actually believed that on my day, I'd definitely be number 2. And so the backlash that came through. But these things are about just the opinion. It's how you look at things. And I think this week we did one on the featherweights. I put Naz behind Henry Armstrong. Was it Henry Armstrong? And Willie Pep number 3, or was it 4? Number 4. But it's just a matter of opinion. It's just what you think.